Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Saturday stream. And the main reason for this is I wanted to get a stream in before Christmas, but also sadly I'm with my family. Not sadly, I'm with my family on Boxing Day, but I am with my family on Boxing Day, which means I can't do a deadline stream for Game Week 19. So this is my version of the deadline stream. It's a little bit early, but I thought we could react to the football. You could laugh at me for my team, and then we could start discussing Game Week 19. There will also be a video out tomorrow as well, but there'll just be two pieces of content for me for Game Week 19 because, yeah, I want to spend some time with the family and not be thinking about YouTube and FPL for a little bit. As much as I can anyway, because it's been bad. You wait until you see my team. If you've not yet seen how bad it is, it's bad. It's not good. But good to see you all. Let me know how you are. Let me know how many points you got as well. Let me know in the chat how many points. If you're watching this back as a video, make sure to subscribe is the most important thing. But let me know in the comments how many points you got for Game Week 18. I'm starting to get confused at what game week we're on at the moment. 62 points. 316k to 108k. 51 with Palmer to go. 62, 70. Oh, chat. There are people in here that have scored over double my points. That's never good, is it? That's never good. I'm waiting. Is there anyone with less points than me? Yes, one person. I've found someone with less points than me. Someone make me feel better. Let me know in the chat if you've got less, if you've got a really low number of points. Okay, there's only one person. Well, thank you to that one person for making me feel. How have all of you got like? Oh, I know how all of you have bloody Solanke. We will discuss Solanke as well, don't you worry. On top of that, not that I needed any more. What? Chunks has just messaged me, send over your team, I'll help, bro. The absolute disrespect of this. Yes, he's top of our league. Yes, he's clear of me, but that's disrespect right there. Outrageous. Big Dom, yeah, Big Dom is... He's Big Dom, isn't he? What can we say? Big Dom is Big Dom. Right, let's take a look at my team. Let's just do it. Should we do it? Do we want to do it? Yeah, we'll do it. I mean, dear Lord. I think I'm on 31 points. So, I don't know why I agreed to do this stream. I wish I hadn't. I wish I wasn't here. No, I'm joking. I love you guys. I'm enjoying being here, but I'm not enjoying FPL. I went into the Liverpool-Arsenal game on a huge red arrow because obviously I don't have Solanke. I don't have some of the other players that returned. But I thought, you know what? I've got... My hat's wonky. That's never good. I've got Saka, Martinelli, Salah, Darwin, and Tsimikas. And yes, Darwin doesn't start. But from those players, I have to get some points. I did get some points, but it was from the only player that I didn't want to return, which is Salah. And then Saka, Tsimikas, and Darwin with 1 pointers and Martinelli with a 2-pointer. So, not good. Really not good. But, what can you do? It's FPL for you. FPL giveth, FPL taketh. FPL is taketh a lot more than giveth this week. But, yes, it's okay. I still got Palmer left to play. Maybe Palmer will score 6 goals. Martinelli was terrible. Martinelli was terrible, indeed. Bit of an issue in my team, as is Darwin, really. I mean, my team selection video will be out tomorrow, and I will discuss in my team selection video what I plan on doing with my team. The only saving grace, as Marcus just said, actually, the first saving grace is Darwin didn't get booked. So he is available to start against Burnley. And given how poor I think Gakpo and Diaz were, I think Darwin's got to start against Burnley. So I'm probably going to end up keeping Darwin another week. But the main saving grace is I rolled my transfer. So I've got 2 free transfers going into Game Week 19. So I can sort out some of my potential issues. Yeah, Tsimikas did get injured. Looks like he's either broke his collarbone or maybe dislocated his shoulder. They put his arm in a sling straight away. And apparently after they put his arm in the... Oh, God, I just got a cramp in my bicep. Sorry, Jack. I went to the gym like 2 hours ago. Apart from... What was I saying? Yes, apparently he went to the hospital. So I would imagine it's some sort of break or fracture. It could just be a dislocation. But it probably doesn't look good for Tsimikas. I was probably going to keep Tsimikas and just bench him next week. So I didn't think he was going to start against Burnley. But if he's injured, I think... I mean, I'm missing an Arsenal defender. I still have a free Arsenal spot. I think Tsimikas to Gabriel or Tsimikas to Saliba makes the most sense for me. Frosty in the chat says, evening all. Frosty, have you changed your profile picture? That's thrown me completely. That has thrown me completely. has to shoulder the blame for the Simicast injury. Marcus, that's terrible, terrible pun. So, let's discuss the elephant in the room. I don't have Solanke. Now, was I ever close to bringing in Solanke? In all honesty, no. And the reason for that is I'm very stubborn. And I thought, everyone's got Solanke. Solanke's only got 2 good fixtures left, and then they really turn. Yes, of course he could get a return against Forest, and of course he could return against Fulham, but he's not the sort of player that's very explosive, Solanke. He'll tick along like Watkins with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. And after those 2 games, I wouldn't want to own him anyway. And on top of that, that Darwin position in my team needs to become Haaland. So I thought, why would I do Darwin to Solanke for 2 weeks when I don't think Solanke's going to get that many points? And then I'd have to remove that Solanke spot anyway in Game Week 20 to bring in Haaland, probably. I just thought it didn't make sense to use the transfer. That is now obviously, that's a 16-point swing in my team. If I'd have done Darwin to Solanke, I'd be 16 points up. So there we go. But I don't think I was ever considering it. The other options I had were Martinelli to Bowen, which would have been great. Martinelli to Richarlison, which probably would have been great, although there are rumours that Richarlison went off with an injury. And then what was the other one? Maybe I was considering Taylor to Konsa, which wouldn't have really massively helped my team either. I think realistically, I got the Solanke one wrong. I will just say, without... Let me know if I sound a bit salty, because I am slightly. But without sounding too salty, you can say I made a mistake, and I probably did not moving for Solanke, but he also played most of the game against 10 men. And does he get a 17-pointer if Willy Bolly doesn't get... By the way, did you see that Willy Bolly sending off? Ridiculous. So if Willy didn't get that red card, I think Solanke comes away with still maybe 1 or 2 returns, but he's not getting that hat trick. So, rock salt spewing from your gob. Yeah, I know, I can feel it. I said to Mrs. Rapture, I was like, I'm going to feel and come across very salty in this live stream. But it is what it is. Speaking of Mrs. Raptor, everyone wants her opinion more than mine, and I don't blame you. She's now 38k. She had Gabriel and Solanke. She's just good at FPL. Just is what it is. She's now, I think, 60-something points ahead of me. Which is nice.
Oh dear. Really?
Yeah, you were 52 points ahead of me before the Gabriel goal. I think you're 60-something points ahead of me. The woman is on fire. She can't do any wrong. I looked at my team and her team this week, and I thought my team is slightly better. No. Apparently it wasn't. Because of bloody Gabriel and Solanke, but there we are. Let me know in the chat, by the way. Firstly, if you are enjoying the stream and you are here right now, or you're watching this back, please do smash that like button because it's Christmas. As a Christmas gift to me, smash that like button. And make sure to subscribe as well. I did hit the goal. I did set the goal of 110,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I don't think we'll get there, but if we could, that would be amazing. But let me know in the chat what stood out to you in Game Week 18. What stood out? I know we've got one more game still to play, but so far, what has stood out to you? Is there a player that you're like, yes, I really want them, or a player that you think continues to underdeliver, or a team that you think we judged incorrectly? I'll bring up the fixtures just so that you can take a look at the results and stuff. What stood out to you in Game Week 18? I always like doing this at the end of a game week before the next one, just thinking, do I need to change any of my opinions and expectations? So I'll go through whilst you're letting me know in the chat, and I'll read out some of the stuff that you've thought of. The first thing, Sheffield United aren't the same team under Wilder. They're not. They're much, much more secure, which is kind of what Wilder was brought in for. But I'm looking at that team and thinking, they don't look like the type of team that are going to be turned over at the moment. And maybe we need to start reassessing where Sheffield United are. And I'll actually jump straight away to that Luton-Newcastle game next, because Luton at home, in a similar way, we need to stop thinking of this as it's against Luton, so it's a great game. When they're at home, they are really, really decent. And I know Newcastle have been horrid recently, but I still think that's oh, my thing just lagged out. I think that's evidence that Luton at home, they are a solid defence. They won't score that many goals, I don't think, but defensively they're good. So Sheffield United and Luton, I think we need to start changing our expectations. Another team that we probably didn't expect much from is Burnley. I don't know if I'm suddenly going to change my opinion on Burnley, but Fulham very disappointing, especially after such a good run of form. What else stood out to me? Let me read what the chat's saying right now. Arsenal's attackers not firing at the moment. Yep, that continues to be very, very clear. Just doesn't quite look good for Saka, Martinelli, Jesus. I actually thought when Trossard came on, he was one of the better attackers. So maybe we start considering, if Trossard starts to get a run of starts, I wouldn't be surprised if Martinelli was benched, in all honesty. Trossard looked pretty decent when he came on. I just realised I missed a couple of super chats. So Julio says, what to do? I have Cash and Simicast, and I also don't have Haaland. What should my priority transfers be? Thanks and happy holidays. Happy holidays to you as well. Cash and Simicast don't have Haaland. We'll discuss Haaland in a second, because I'm interested to see whether people are looking to bring in Haaland, if he's confirmed as fit for 19, or if he looks likely to be. But let's ignore Haaland for now. Cash and Simicast, who's more of a priority? Probably Simicast. At least Cash is fit. And you never know. All it requires, and I'm hoping this isn't the case, by the way, of course, but all it requires is an injury to Konsa, or an injury like to Diego Carlos, and all of a sudden Cash might get a place in the starting 11. Whereas if Simicast is injured, he's injured. And obviously Robertson's back fit soon. So I would probably err on the side of Simicast is a more of a priority sell than Cash. Tiki Taylor says, Game Week 19 wildcard, I'm targeting Chesterfield FC. I don't get the joke. Do you get the joke? Okay. There's obviously a joke in there that I've just completely missed. But there we go. I'm sorry. I've ruined your joke because I don't get it. Shazam says, Happy Christmas Eve, Egg. Great stream as always. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you being a member. Appreciate you very much. Cash is suspended, buddy. Yes. Obviously, neither are going to be available for Game Week 19, but I don't think you would have started either in 19 anyway. I think I'm thinking here, longer. You're going to replace one, right? So longer term, Cash is more likely to get minutes than Simicast at the moment. I'm hoping you wouldn't have to play either. Ross, Gomez had an amazing game, almost made a goal. I thought Gomez was very good when he came on for Simicast. Absolutely. I said that to Mrs. Rapture as we were watching the football. I thought Gomez was very, very impressive. Is Gomez an option now? Isn't Robertson close to returning? Didn't they pencil it in as about Game Week 21, 22? Maybe he is short term, but the fixtures aren't really there for Liverpool. And Gomez has never scored for Liverpool, has he? So, I don't think so. How many points do you have? Oh, God, I thought I was going to get away with not having my team on the screen, but let's go back. 31 after auto subs, I think. Yeah, I think Salah's got 2 bonus or 1 bonus. Maybe it's less than 31. Let me have a look on Hub at what my live rank is. My team live rank. If you want to get your live rank, Fantasy Football Hub do a great. I'm on 30 points. I think I lied. Not on 31 because Salah lost a bonus point. 30. It's not good, is it? They've got a really cool section, by the way. I don't really use it enough, but they've got a section called Match Center over on Hub, and you can see like the live bonus points. So on the Fantasy Premier League website, you can only see the people with like the top bonus points, but this allows you to see the bonus points for everyone. So for example, if we have a look at, it's going to be off your screen. Oh no, you can see it on there. Darwin's bonus points were 6, you can see. Gravenberch was on -1. Salah finished on 23. Erdegaard on 26. Gabriel got 2 bonus points on 25. So I find it quite useful because you can't see all of them on the official Premier League website. Fixtures-wise, I think maybe it's worth, as we go into this busy period as well, it's fewer, not less. Yeah, I know, Henry, but get over it, you know. I think it's worth from time to time looking at fixtures and which teams are coming into a nice run. I will just say, I love Fantasy Football Hub, but they do overvalue home fixtures a bit. So sometimes it's a bit suspect when you're looking at the fixtures, because if a team has a load of home fixtures, they're like, yeah, they've got the best fixtures in the world. Or if they've got really good home fixtures, I should say. But obviously, Chelsea still have the best run of fixtures from now until Game Week 24. So I still don't think it's too late. We'll see how they perform tomorrow. Assuming Palmer doesn't pick up a booking, I still don't think it's too late to jump on Palmer. Then we've got Brighton. And I find this an interesting one because I don't really want any of their players, but the run of fixtures, especially after Spurs, they've got West Ham, Wolves, Luton, Palace, and then Spurs again. It's not a terrible run. They've got a really nice couple of home fixtures in there against Wolves and Palace. Could we jump on a Brighton asset or two? Maybe. Man City's in there again, but outside of Haaland, which we'll discuss Haaland, what we're going to do in a second. Not interested overly, am I? I've got Alvarez already. I'll probably keep him, but probably not a defender. Then we've got Luton, don't want any Luton players probably. Then Man United, don't want any Man United players. Then Sheffield United, don't really want any Sheffield United players. Then Fulham, not overly interested myself. It's not until we get down to here when we get to Arsenal, who have pretty good fixtures. They've got West Ham, Fulham, Palace, Forest, Liverpool, and then West Ham again. So, interesting. But obviously then down the other end, You've got teams like Newcastle starting to go into a slightly more tricky run now. Same with Spurs as well, not the best run of fixtures. So, I mean, if you've got your wild card in hand, you probably end up making quite a few changes. I think it's Arsenal at the moment. I'm looking at those fixtures and I want an Arsenal defender. I think that's the most likely transfer for my team. But obviously, most people already own an Arsenal defender. Estepinan's back in training. Ooh. Ooh, that's interesting. Someone said Pascal Gross. Yeah, Pascal. Should we have a look at Pascal Gross's data, actually? This stream's going to be a bit of a mess. It's not really... I haven't really got a plan. I'm just kind of chatting about FPL, really. But, yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look at Brighton players to see if anyone stands out. Let's search for Brighton. And I've just set up my own custom stats on the Opta section. So we'll just have a look at Brighton players. And we'll go, since game week 10, per 90. And I just want to look at goal threat. Ansu Fati was good, but obviously injured. João Pedro doesn't get enough minutes. Hinshelwood, not enough minutes. Welbeck, not enough minutes. Adingra has been getting the minutes, but pretty poor data. Interesting. Pascal Gross has got very nice creativity. Sitting at about a 0.48 non-penalty expected goal involvement. Do you know what? Yeah, I don't mind a Pascal Gross shout, especially because when João Pedro's not on the pitch, Pascal Gross is also on penalties. Could do it. I don't mind a cheeky punt on Pascal Gross, actually, especially with those fixtures. By the way, if you haven't yet seen, Game Week 18 and 19, the exact reverse fixtures for Game Week 24 and 24, or 23 and 24, I think it is. So whatever they're playing now is their fixture in Game Week 24 and Game Week 19. I don't know why they do that, but that is the case. Are you keeping Pau Torres? The only way I would sell Pau Torres this week is if we get confirmation he's out for more than... I'm going to say more than 2 game weeks. If he's out for 1 or 2, I may keep him because I still want an Aston Villa defender. And I don't think I need to play him. But if he's out for more than that, I don't love the idea of keeping him. If he's fit, I still might not end up starting him, despite Man United not being great. I'll quickly show you my team, but my team selection video will be tomorrow. So I don't want to spend too long talking about my team here. This is how my team's currently lining up. I've benched Tsimikas, obviously, because he's injured. Martinez's been a bit stinky. So I think my front 7, unless Palmer gets suspended, will look as it is. Trippier, Porro, Dubravka, absolutely fine. Benches, I have a bench. So it probably would be Tsimikas to an Arsenal defender, and then bench Pau Torres, and then bring in that Arsenal defender. And then I think the team looks pretty decent. But yeah, I probably will keep Pau Torres because I don't need him for next week anyway. And I do think holding on to an Aston Villa defender does make sense. Good day to you, Ross. Good day to you as well, Monks. I read your paper on fantasy manager psychology. Yep, great analysis. Thank you very much. How do you deal when decisions don't go to plan? Currently going through the same issue. It's a great question. I will give some advice, but I will acknowledge it's very difficult to implement. Now, I've had a rough few hours. I felt pretty crap about football, my FPL team, just everything. I didn't really want to stream, so it's easy for me to sit here and say, do all of these things and you'll feel great, but it's not that easy. I would say the big thing for me is just switching off, which I can't do, which is why I struggle a little bit more. But if fantasy's not going well for you and you're not enjoying it, don't scroll through Twitter. Don't go and watch a YouTube video from me or from Andy or Oscar or Harry, whoever it is. Just switch off. Go FaceTime your mum. Go to the gym. Go read a book. Do something that doesn't involve you sitting there and stewing over what you've just had as a game week. So that would be my number one thing, is step back. But also realize that every time something bad happens in FPL, a week later, maybe not a week, sometimes a week later, but often like a couple of weeks later, you feel fine. Like I remember I had a really bad game. Let me find it for you. And this is going to be exactly what I mean by this, by the way. I can't even remember what game week this was. What game week was it? Here you go. Game week 13 was comfortably the worst game week in my FPL career. Comfortably. Made this game week look fantastic. I had a game week rank of almost 10 million. Bear in mind, there are only 10 million managers, and most of them have stopped playing. It was comfortably the worst game week I've ever had. I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you what happened. I couldn't tell you what players I had. I couldn't tell you why I got the red arrow. And that gives me some solace, knowing that in a few weeks I'll forget all about this game week. Unless you've got just some sort of crazy memory or you really stew over stuff. But generally, the fact that in the future I'll feel fine, it gives me that kind of, like that solace that it's not too bad. I know it feels horrible now. I feel horrible. I've had a stinking game week. Like I'm on 30 points. But you'll be back in a couple of weeks with a green arrow and you'll be feeling great. But the main advice I would give is to just dissociate from FPL. Get FPL out your brain. Go do something productive. Hopefully, go to the gym, cook yourself a nice dinner, and you'll be fine. My brother in Christ, how have you still got Darwin? I don't even know at this stage. I don't even know. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you. Again, if you are enjoying the stream, by the way, there are 1,500 people here. So thank you, by the way. It's quite a lot considering it's Saturday night. Could you please like the stream? It just spreads the stream out to other people. I do really appreciate it. I'll be streaming for about an hour is the plan. About an hour. Maybe a little bit short, maybe a bit longer. Right, get your questions in then ahead of Game Week 19. We can discuss a few of them. Trent in for Trippier. Not for me, but I understand why. But I think this fixture is actually really nice for Trippier. It's at home. We know how much better than Newcastle are at home. But maybe longer term, yeah. My only concern is you're going to want Haaland in soon. And I think we'll do Haaland in like a few minutes once I've answered a few of your questions. Because I'm interested to see what people are planning with Haaland. But I think putting even more money in the defence is just going to make it even trickier to get Haaland back in. And we've spoken about the fact that you can sell Salah and Son, but then at some point you're going to bring Salah and Son back in, and I can guarantee it's not at the expense of Haaland. It's going to be you want the three of them. And then when you've also got a Trent and a Watkins, and it's just not possible. So I wonder if... I mean, Trent was great again from an FPL perspective. I actually think he was quite poor. He gave the ball away a hell of a lot. It's why he didn't finish on any bonus points. Maybe he did in the end. But he gave the ball away a lot. But from an FPL perspective, he was pinging passes. He was creating a lot of chances as well for his team. So I get the Trent love, but I'm wondering if now's the right time to be investing money in your defence. How can I break away from FPL when I write a daily roundup tweet about it on Twitter? This is true. I can say now, Marcus, though, no one would care if you stopped doing that. And I say that from a loving perspective, i.e. no one would care if I stopped tweeting. I used to have this sense of... I forgot what it's called. Like, is it like grandiosity? It's the idea that like everyone would really notice if I took an evening off. Like I remember there was a day. This was like a year and a half ago. I wanted to take a day off from Twitter, and I felt the need to announce that. You know, like it was like I'm a celebrity. That's like no one cares that I stopped posting for a day. No one even asked how I was, which is a sad thought you can sometimes. But it also helps that like no one really cares. If you want to take a day off, Marcus, have a day off. No one would notice. And I mean that in a loving way. I don't mean that in a horrible way. I'm the same as well. No one would care if I had a day off from Twitter. What to do when you have Lascelles and Simicast? Sell the most expensive one first, I think. And especially as Lascelles' injury didn't look quite as bad, I don't think. Although maybe I'm wrong there. But Simicast would be my first sale. Simply because they're both an issue. Just bin off the one that's costing you the most money. Sell Simicast, yep, sell Simicast. When we're talking about replacements, it's a great... Let me have a look on the projected points, actually, on Hub. I think if you don't have an Arsenal defender, you go Arsenal defence. And I would argue, and I know people keep getting burnt by Arsenal defence, although they did keep a clean sheet last week, but I'd even argue if you've got one, go for a second one. I don't think there are many defenders I'd want at the moment, but I've been saying this for weeks, and people are like, no, they won't. And they do get points, but Gabriel and Saliba are just great. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I wouldn't go for Wyatt. Zinchenko was horrid today. Like, when I say horrid, comfortably the worst player on the pitch. He gave the ball away every time he got it. But yeah, I think only... Maybe Raya, if you've got a goalkeeper transfer, but I think Saliba and Gabriel are great, and I'd still be interested. I am a little bit worried that Gabriel might get benched against... who have they got? West Ham? Maybe that's just a little bit of unnecessary worrying, though. Right, what were you looking at? Defenders... Let's go game week 19 to 25, because you don't want to own a defender for like a couple of weeks. So points projections for defenders. Let me get the chat back up. Trent, Trippier, and then, right, this is why I hate the projections, but like I understand the logic. It's 2 Man City defenders, 3 Man City defenders. Bloody hell. Okay, so if you've got the money, like the fixtures are there. Vardiol, Ruben Dias, Walker. Walker is just getting every minute available, isn't he? For Man City. So it could be a decent shot, but they've just got no attacking threat. They're not good for bonus points. They would need to keep a clean sheet almost every week to be worth it for me, especially when you consider that they're quite expensive. Other than Gvardiol, they're all above 5 mil. I mean, are we interested in a Man City defender? I'm not convinced. Then it's Ben White. Then we still have a Newcastle defender up there, Dan Burn. I think it's the wrong time. You look after Forest, they've got Liverpool, City, Villa. Then Luton is great. Then Forest at home, Bournemouth, Arsenal. It's an okay run, and you would expect probably over the next 8 games, maybe 2 or 3 clean sheets, but I feel like there are better times to jump on the Newcastle defence. Van Dijk, again, the fixtures aren't there for me. Zinchenko, no. Gabriel, yes. I just think Zinchenko is just an absolute stinker. I just don't. I think as soon as Tomiyasu's available, he slots straight back in. They could even try something else there. What did Gary Neville say on Sky Sports? He's a liability. He feels like a bit of a liability at the moment, Zinchenko. He's just giving the ball away so much. Luton is great, crying face. Luton is great if it's a home game. It's a home game. Luton away obviously isn't, but Luton at home is a great game. After that, Saliba, Diogo Dalot. God, would I want a Man United defender? No, not in a million years. Fabian Schär, Luke Shaw, no. Lewis Dunk, I don't mind. Udogie, yeah. Udogie's a decent shout. Why is Pedro Porro all the way down there? They need to update his expected minutes. I mean, I hate all of these defenders. I'd get an Arsenal defender, I'd get 2 Arsenal defenders, and then I'd pair them with Pedro Porro. I think the ideal back 3 is Porro, Gabriel, Saliba, and you just leave it at that. I don't like any of these options here. The fixtures aren't there or the minutes aren't there. You could still go, I think, for an Aston Villa defender. If Pau Torres is fit, great. Konsa, if not. Who are we looking at in defence, chat? Because they all stink, don't they, those options? Well done for fronting up. Still showing up despite the absolute stinker of a game week. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make you feel better. Because I guarantee not many people got less points than me this week. Just want to wish you a Merry Christmas and thank you for all the greatest work you are doing here for us. Thank you so much, Victor. That's very kind of you. And thank you for the super chat. Is the double game week 20 confirmed? Not sure when to wildcard. No, double game week 20 definitely isn't happening now. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. So a lot of the people that predict the scheduling for when double game weeks will happen and stuff like that, they were pretty sure we'd have a double game week 20. But that hasn't been announced. And the fixtures all the way up to Game Week 21 now have been announced, I think. Or 22, like the licensing for the TV. Let me have a look. Have we got all of that information? I think we've had... Where did we go up to? I think we've had it all the way up to 24, but I guess it could still be slotted in. I would say the very earliest we could get a double game week now is 21. But I still think that's unlikely. After that, it's probably 24. Looks the most likely for the double. If it's not I think it should be, don't hold me to this, it should be before game week 26. I think. Because they kind of need to get it rearranged because they might not have another slot, especially depending on if Man City progress in a lot of the other competitions that they're in. So I think they need to get that Brentford Man City game replayed ASAP. So I would imagine game week 24 is possible. But yeah, don't delay the wild card for the sake of the double game week, I wouldn't say. Are you continuing with Martinelli? I might not sell him next week, but he'll probably be on the bench. I was really hoping this would be his week. He loves playing against Liverpool at Anfield. It felt like a good fixture because I know Liverpool leave a bit of space. It felt like a Martinelli fixture, and I was hoping this would kickstart a run for him where he'd go on a really nice run of scoring, but he didn't look likely, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't sell him next week, but I do have 2 free transfers, so maybe. What are your opinions on butter chicken? Far too plain. I like spice. Butter chicken's not... me and Mrs. Raptor made a beautiful chicken jalfrezi last night. From scratch. How long did it take us? Hour and a half? Hour and a half, 2 hours to make a chicken jalfrezi from scratch. It was delicious. We were going to make chapati as well, but we couldn't be bothered. Mrs. Raptor needs to start a Twitter page, if not YouTube. Mrs. Raptor is on Twitter, but she's anonymous. I don't think she would make a YouTube channel. She's cracking up over there. She loves being anonymous. She loves just being known as Mrs. Raptor and then nothing else. Jalfrezi is my favourite. Slaps. It does slap. Konsa, Gabriel, Porro may be the ideal 3. Yeah, you may be right, especially when you take into account budget, Rami. Yeah, Konsa, Gabriel, Porro. I mean, Pedro Porro, Trippier, Pau Torres didn't look too bad. That stunk, though, this week for me. I'm thinking about selling Luis Diaz. I'm not going to lie. I don't think Luis Diaz starts against Burnley. I think it will be maybe Darwin on the left, Gakpo through the middle, and Salah on the right. You could obviously see Darwin through the middle and Diaz on the left, but Lol, we can hear her laughing in the background. Yeah, she's just cracking up over there, bless her.
People think we were using curry paste for a curry.
People think we were what?
Using curry paste. It was from scratch. From scratch.
We didn't use curry paste, yeah.
No.
We didn't use any curry paste. It was from scratch. What other Indian foods have you tried? What to make from scratch? Not much, to be honest. That was the first time I've made a proper curry from scratch, you know? Because before I would use a few shortcuts. So, what to do with Lascelles? Lascelles need to be cells. The reason for that is Fabian Schär's injury wasn't serious. Botman's now back. Botman and Schär will almost definitely start from here on out. So yeah, Lascelles. You need to marinate the chicken for longer. We marinated it for like about an hour. Yeah, we probably should have done it for a bit longer. I agree. How did you know that though, Oliver? That's what I want to know. Mrs. Raptor confirmed to be on the chat. She read the curry paste comment. Yeah, she's here. She's here watching my stream. Like next to me. But just off camera. Don't you like Colwill? No. I don't think he's completely nailed. I don't trust the Chelsea defence, and he's got no attacking threat. And I know I said that as after he's got an attacking return a couple of weeks ago, but it's a fluke. Like, he's not got consistent attacking threat. We might get early Newcastle team news for Game Week 19. Are they the early kickoff? They are, aren't they? Yeah, 12:30, isn't it? You make an excellent point. Yeah, maybe delay those sales of Livramento and Lascelles and stuff, because I think Livramento could start this game. I think Lascelles could, but I doubt it. If I had to predict the back line now, I'm worried Trippier could get a rest. Chat, am I overthinking that? Am I overthinking the possibility of a Trippier rest? I think it will be, as long as they're fit, Schär and Botman. I think Burn is fine to start again. It could be Livramento at right back, or Trippier at right back, Livramento at left back. I've got a feeling Livramento starts it. It's just whether he starts at left back or right back. I'm going to say the back four will be maybe Dan Burn gets a rest. Livramento left back, Schär, Botman, Trippier. Maybe. But although Dan Burn is great, so maybe not. I just think Livramento has been so excellent for Newcastle. Surely he doesn't just completely drop out the team now. I think it'll be Burn that's benched, is my prediction. Don't you like Pinnock? Pinnock's fine. Yeah, Pinnock's fine. Bit of attacking threat, decent defence. Fixtures are a bit of a mixed bag, but yeah, could go for Pinnock. Isak or Wilson or both? I would answer that with neither. I never know what is going on with the Newcastle strikers. I wouldn't be interested in Isak or Wilson myself. Got this on as I went through the Mackie D's drive-thru, and the fella said, "Is that Let's Talk FPL?" Outrageous. We don't even sound alike. If Gordon doesn't get any rest, Trippier won't either. This is true. Gordon is just getting run into the ground, bless him, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have functioning legs anymore. Oh, I meant who do you think starts? What, out of Isak and Wilson? If Isak's fit, Isak probably. And he is. So yeah, I'd guess Isak, honestly. Because Wilson started, what is that, 4 in a row now? 5 in a row for Wilson? I think it will be Isak. Nkunku is going to Hull for me tomorrow. I'd be so jealous because I really wanted to do Darwin to Nkunku. If Nkunku plays well, and maybe only gets like 60 minutes, I would be tempted to move for him. I think I've got... I'll discuss this for my team selection video, which will be out tomorrow, but I think I've got to keep Darwin again. And I know, he's going to do nothing, but he looks good to start against Burnley. I can't sell him, I don't think. Oh, God, it's such a horrible situation. It's just every week, it's like, I'll keep Darwin for one more week, and then he does nothing. Then he gets benched in the next fixture. I'm like, oh, I'll keep Darwin for one more week. Who would you sell Lascelles for? If you can afford an Arsenal defender, that. If not, probably Konsa. If you can't afford Konsa, I don't know that there are... Gusto? Maybe Gusto is a cheap shout, but I do think Dizassi will take minutes off of Gusto. Darwin is like the 21-22 Antonio. That is so true if you played in that season. Which two would you start out of Colwell, Gabriel, Saliba, Gordon for game week 9? Gabriel, Saliba, and Gordon. Probably. I wouldn't ever bench your Arsenal defence. I know they conceded today, but they're just so good. To stop Liverpool from scoring tons of goals. Liverpool played very well from... Actually, that's a lie. They created some chances and they got in good positions, but Gakpo and Diaz were stinky. I even think Salah didn't have a great game. Will Gusto start tomorrow? I would predict yes, but I don't think he starts enough games for me to consider him, because I think Disasi has been excellent at right back. Trent had a big chance. Trent had a huge chance. I am so glad that that hit the crossbar. I couldn't deal with a Trent goal. That would have been very sad. Liverpool played well, shush man. They're just not scoring though, are they? I mean, they only scored 1 goal in the last 2 games. They create the chances, but there's just something missing with their front line. They just rely on Salah to do something. But yeah, I just think Gakpo and Diaz just aren't it. Neither is Darwin, in all honesty. They missed Mane and Firmino. That front three isn't even remotely close to what we've seen in the past. If you compare Firmino, Mane, Salah to Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Darwin, it's just not... Oh, yeah, I know. Technically 6 goals in the last 2 games. If you include the West Ham game, absolutely. I'm talking about in the Premier League, though. I'm talking about in the Prem. Trent is a great differential. Yeah. A lot of people won't move there, but Right, that reminded me. Let's discuss Haaland. I'm going to run a poll in the chat. By the way, if you're watching this as a video, I'll read out the results of the poll. But yeah, let's start a poll. If Haaland is fit for game week 19, we don't know this yet. We may get news that he's not. But let's say if Haaland is confirmed as fit for game week 19, will you bring him in? And will it be for a hit? I would love to know if Haaland is confirmed as fit for game week 19. Again, I don't think he will be, but let's say that he is. Would you bring him in for a hit? Would you bring him in and will it be for a hit? I'm going to give the option of already own him. Already own him. No, won't bring him in. We'll bring him in for free. And then we'll bring him in for a hit. Right. I'd love to just know what your plan is for Erling Haaland. Obviously, if he's not confirmed as fit, then we won't bring him in. That feels fairly obvious. But let's say that he is. Your 4 options in the chat right now, make sure to vote, is already own him. No, won't bring him in. We'll bring him in for a hit or bring him in for free. I'd love to know what you'll do. Make sure if you're watching this live, you vote in the poll. I had 30 points with Gabriel on the bench. I feel your pain. I'm also on 30 points. Justin said, I saved enough money to bring him straight back in, but I'll have to take a hit for Simicast or Lascelles. Yeah, that's tough. I do understand it, though. Saving the money for Haaland's good if you can get away with, obviously, not spending the money, if you feel like your squad is strong enough to do so. Polkit says, not my day today. Ross missed my question like 10 times, including Super Chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Polkit. Let me answer your Super Chat. Oh, yeah, I missed that one. Sorry. Ross, help with my bench. Porro, Gabriel, Trippier, Colwell, Gordon, Watkins, Alvarez, Saka. Which 2 to bench and why? Both can't be defenders. Thanks a lot. Sorry for missing that, mate. I have no idea how I missed that. Who would you bench? I have to bench 2. Colwell, low ceiling. And then maybe Watkins. Gordon at home, wouldn't bench him. Saka on pens, at home, wouldn't bench him. Trippier, Porro, Gabriel for like great options. I would bench Colwell and one of Watkins or Alvarez. We'll see what happens before the deadline that makes us change our mind on that, but that's the way I would lean. Third season in a row, I've benched Gabriel for his annual bullet header. Yeah, I know, that's tough. That is tough, especially when they concede as well, and it feels like a good decision to bench Gabriel, and then he goes and gets a goal and 2 bonus points. Prediction on where Manchester United finish this season. 7th. I think 7th. Maybe 6th. Probably 7th. Hopefully 8th. 7th is not the position you want to be finishing in. I don't want Europa League football. It's not any disrespect to Europa League. It's more so that teams this season, apart from Aston Villa, but teams this season, West Ham at points, but Brighton in particular, have shown how difficult it is to play on a Thursday and then play on the weekend. It just doesn't work very well. And I also just think that you either take it very seriously and then you struggle in the Prem, or you don't take it seriously particularly and then you play your youngsters, but then maybe get knocked out. And then you have the negative morale about being knocked out of the Europa League. It's just, I don't really want that. I want the Champions League, or I want a season off where we can rebuild and try and get a decent finish in the Prem. Yeah, sorry. When I say Europa League, I'm including Europa Conference League. Any European football that isn't the UCL, I just don't want it. I just don't want it. As rude as that sounds. As rude as that sounds. Lascelles and Simicast for Gabriel and Gvardiol for a -4. Yeah, you could do. I'm still not overly convinced by Man City defence. I'd maybe prefer like Gabriel and Konsa, or Gabriel and Saliba, or something like that. Maybe myself. Since you like spicy food, you should try Tawa chicken. You might dig it. I've never even heard of that. Let me Google it. Ooh, Punjabi recipe where chicken pieces are marinated in a paste with gram flour spices and cooked in spiced curry base. Right, Mrs. Rapture and I will make that at some point. That sounds nice. City defence have potential. They always turn it on at this time of the season. That is true, but like, clean sheets are great. If you could get a clean sheet every week, you would bring in that player, but the clean sheets won't come every week. And when the player doesn't play every week, there's a good chance that if they keep 2 clean sheets in 3, but they're benched for one of the clean sheets, then they've got 1 clean sheet in 3. Not really great for bonus points. No attacking threat. I'm just not convinced. I'm not that convinced by the Man City defense myself. Sell Areola / Turner or Lascelles first. I don't know why you'd sell Areola and Turner. They're both starting. I'd sell Lascelles before the 2 goalkeepers. I mean, Areola kept a clean sheet this week. Let's not discuss the fact that my 2 highest scorers outside of Son and Salah are both on my bench. Didn't even discuss that. Apart from Salah and Son, I've got Areola and Taylor on the bench. That's nice. Walker is the one. It might, maybe, but he's got no attacking threat. Like, if we have a look at Walker's data. Do you know what? Let's have a look at the Man City defensive data. See if any of them stand out. Attacking data, I mean, from the Man City defenders. Man City defense. Let's go across the entire season. Let's go on my custom stats table that I built. By the way, if you are using Fantasy Football Hub, I didn't realize this for the longest time. I was using the website for probably over a year before I realized this. You can build a custom stats table, which I did, and I just added in the key stuff. It just makes it so much easier to just see what you want to see in your table. But if we sort it by non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes, obviously remove Laporte because he only played 11 minutes. Then we've got Ake with 0.13, which in all honesty isn't great, by the way. It's not like it's a great attacking threat, but he doesn't get enough minutes. Rico Lewis doesn't get enough minutes, not even that great. Then after that, you're with a Kanji at 0.05. It's absolutely abysmal. There's no goal threat from their defenders. Then even if you sort it by expected assists, you've got Sergio Gomez, who again has only played 15 minutes. Rico Lewis doesn't get enough minutes, and it's still not that creative. Then you do have Walker, but he's got 0.09 expected assists and 0.01 expected goals. Like there's just nothing for you there outside of clean sheets. And like I said, because Man City score a lot of goals, and because Haaland always dominates bonus, and there's always like a Grealish or a Doku that gets a couple of assists, they don't even get many bonus points either. So I won't bring in a Man City defender, but I can understand the desire to do so. Gordon, Gabriel, Saliba, Colwill, who to bench? Colwill. If you need to bench 2 of them, it's Colwill and Gabriel probably, or Colwill and Saliba. You don't bench Gordon against Nottingham Forest at home. And you need to play at least 1 Arsenal defender. Who to play next week, Areola or Turner? So Areola's got Liverpool. Forest have Newcastle. I'd probably play Turner, just on the off chance that Newcastle was still struggling a little bit. Walker has been okay in draft for me. He has. And if he keeps keeping clean sheets occasionally, then yeah, he'll do well. But I don't know that he's worth 5.3 mil. In draft, you've got unlimited budget, haven't you? So Areola has Arsenal. Sorry, Arsenal, not Liverpool. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. I'd still back Turner. I think they'll both concede, so I don't think it matters really. Shall I sell Areola or Simicast? Simicast. Sell the players that are bigger issues. Prioritise. You know, you can't sell everyone every week. You don't have unlimited transfers every week. Who to bench? Gordon, Palmer, Watkins, Darwin. Difficult one. I'd probably lean Darwin. I'm only starting him because I've got some sort of toxic relationship with him, but he's been terrible. The other three have all been pretty good. Is a Chelsea defender good for Simicast or by Burn Botman? I'd go for an Aston Villa defender if I were to. I think I prefer Colwell to Burn and Botman at the moment simply because the fixtures are just there. So I'm not a massive fan of Colwell, but I think I prefer him to the Newcastle defender. Thanks, Ross, for answering all of my questions. I try my best, mate. I try my best. When is the deadline to use the first wildcard? The first wildcard needs to be used by game week 20. So basically, you get your second wildcard for game week 21. So if you've got your wildcard now, you can either play it in 19, so for the upcoming game week, or for the game week after that. I would probably play it the game week after. I think most people's teams probably look okay for this week. Then the week after that, our teams look a little bit more dodgy. And obviously, it's post whatever happens on Boxing Day and those game week days there. I think you could get a couple of injuries. So if you've still got the wild card, I would probably go game week 20. Hanny says, could you please navigate through your game week 20, 21, 22 plans? Yeah, I can have a go. I need to think about this in more detail over the coming days, but let's have a look. By the way, I don't think, I'm almost certain, Fantasy Football Hub is still offering their 30-day free trial. So loads of people have used that advantage. Loads of people have used it and then gone on to carry and use it. There are a few people that decided to cancel, but at least it gives you that decision. You don't have to commit to anything. You can sign up and then see how you feel about it. But game week 19, let's say that the plan at the moment, I think, will be... No, not Taylor, actually. It'll be Simicast, won't it? Simicast, I'm going to say... I might go Saliba. Just for the safety of starts. I'm going to go... do I go Gabriel? That's a question, chat. And let me know if you're watching this back in the comments. Gabriel or Saliba? Gabriel or Saliba? Is it worth going for Saliba? Is he worth all of that extra money? Might be just be Gabriel, you know. Let's say I go Gabriel. Let's say I go cheap. Right. If you're struggling, by the way, make sure you click the make transfers. It's changed the site slightly. But you need to click the make transfers button. Right. So game week 19, I do that and I bring Gabriel in. That would be my team, and I would have then going into game week 20 2 free transfers. Now, remember, this is the final week before the players go off to AFCON. So, AFCON and Asian Cup, I should say. So, this is our final week with Son and Salah. At the moment, I am going off the basis that I'm going to want to own Haaland for game week 20. Now, if Haaland's not available for 20, then my plans will change completely. But on the basis that Haaland is available, the plan has always been off Darwin, bring in Haaland for Darwin, bin off Salah a week early, but he plays against Newcastle, so it's like, maybe not the worst. And then I've got 8 million to spend in that spot. The player that is most likely to come in for me is Jared Bowen. Not just because obviously he scored this game week, but he's just been the player that I've been eyeing up because he's got Brighton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth. It's a nice run of fixtures and a player that I would like to own because he's got decent goal threat as well. So let's say I do something like Bowen in there. That would be how I'd use my 2 transfers in game week 20. The priority would be bringing in and captaining Haaland. I suppose my only slight concern is, like we said, Sheffield United aren't the same team anymore. By the way, Alvarez would come onto my starting 11. Let me just make the transfers. Pau Torres would come back in, probably for Trippier. Alvarez would come in. Oh, that's a tough one. Probably for Martinelli. So the team would look like that. It's a good team for game week 20. But yeah, do I want to move? Like, Haaland is definitely the best captain, but Salah against Newcastle at home, we know how bad Newcastle have been away from home. We know how good Sheffield United have been in the last couple. Is that the best move? I don't know. But the plan is probably to bring Haaland back in 20. Then in 21, this is now where you have a decision to make. Do you sell Son as well? And my current plan is no. And the reason for that, I've got money tied up in both Son and Salah. I don't want to lose all of that money, and I don't think I need to sell Son. I think what I can do is bring Martinelli back in, but I may well change Martinelli to Erdegaard, by the way. And then, I mean, that team's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's not ideal, but I don't think I need to sell Son. I think I would be happy in the 3-4-3, bench Son and just hope that South Korea get knocked out a bit early and that Son's maybe back from like 22, 23. So that's the current plan at the moment, is in 19, bringing an Arsenal defender. Don't know if you can hear that. The guy on the bicycle with the speakers coming back. Can you hear that? There's a guy that goes around on a bicycle with a massive speaker. I'm really struggling to concentrate that going on. So, yeah, sorry, 19 Arsenal defender, game week 20 Haaland, basically, is the rough plan. Then 21, I don't think I'll sell Son at the moment. I think I'll just probably bench him. What is your plan with Son and Salah and Haaland? I'd love to know. But that's my current plan. Completely distracted by that man on the bike. I can hear that loud and clear. He's a Knots legend. I'm glad some people know that guy. Yeah, he just goes around with a huge speaker just blaring. I don't know why. Egypt are more likely to get knocked out early. So the other possibility, let me actually just show you that. Do you know what? I'm gonna reset my team. Yep, reset. Import my team. Let me show you the other possibility. Is right. Let me remake that move. Simicast out, Gabriel in. Gabriel. Make transfers. So in game week 20, the other possibility is actually that I don't sell Salah. Because someone's just said Egypt are more likely to go out than South Korea. I actually think, aren't both teams predicted to finish 5th or 6th? So I think they're both as likely as the other ones get knocked out. But let's say that we think Egypt are more likely not to. Maybe I don't sell Salah here and I actually sell Son. So how much money would I have? If I bring in Haaland for Darwin and then sell Son instead, I'd have 4.6 mil. That's a bit stinky, isn't it? It could even be less than that by the time the game week swings around. So, I mean, I'm bringing in a dead spot, aren't I? Chat, who's the best 4.6 million or lower midfielder to bring in? Cliver, but really tough run of fixtures there. Oh, God, they're all horrid, aren't they? And there aren't any, are there? Are there any good ones? How about if I sort it by 4 game week prediction? Godus from Brentford. McAtee. Yeah, probably McAtee. So it would be something like that. And then I would obviously bring Alvarez in. Oh, sorry, make transfers. Bring Alvarez in. Which would mean then that in game week 21, this is the only issue though. Then I'm probably sitting in a situation where I'm having to play 4 at the back in a 4-3-3. Or making another couple of... It doesn't work as well, does it? Chukwuemeka at 4.2. Yeah, that could be the one, Marcus. If I want to bench Salah then, because I have to bring in McAtee, it's more of a 4-3-3. I think selling Salah rather than selling Son and then benching Son makes more sense. But I do get what you're saying, that if Egypt do have a greater chance, then maybe that makes more sense to not sell Salah. We'll work that all out in the coming week or two. I think at the moment, the plan needs to be around game week 19 and what we want to do there. KDB will be back soon too. Yeah, KDB being back would be massive for Haaland. The only issue is if KDB comes back and Haaland's fit, I'm then worried about Alvarez. Because Alvarez is playing where KDB plays. Not the exact same role, but the same slot in the team. And they could play like dual 8s. Like they kind of are with Foden sometimes and Alvarez, but play like KDB and Alvarez. But I think more likely Alvarez just gets reduced minutes. So then Alvarez is another potential issue for me. So we'll see. I'd love to see KDB stay fit. It's such a shame that he can't seem to stay fit, but we'll see. Maybe he's fully recovered now. Are you tempted to bring KDB in? No. I would need to see KDB start 3 games in a row and get close to 90 minutes and look fit to be tempted. I just wonder, people were saying that this injury would completely end KDB's career. And I was one of those people that was a bit worried that he would never come back from this. I don't want him to start 2 of every 3. I can't sit there with a player that is, around 10 mil and just not have them play every game. So I need to see a little bit more from him in terms of minutes before I'm considering KDB. I'd much rather go for someone like an Erdegaard or a Bowen or... Who else is there? Who else have we considered? Bruno. No, I'm not going to... What are you doing with Trippier? He looks a bit out of form. Yeah, I'm obviously going to keep him for Forest and then I'll reassess. Maybe Trippier is my route back to Haaland while still having Salah. Maybe I sell Trippier and spread the money a little bit more. I could always upgrade Trippier to Trent, as a few people have spoken about, but I don't know if that's the best use of funds at the moment, pumping more money into defence. If Rodri was injured, is Haaland still an option? Yeah, it makes them a bit weaker in general. Actually, that's a lie. It makes them a lot weaker in general, but Haaland is Haaland. And I think while Salah and Son are at their respective tournaments, Haaland's the best captain almost every week. That's a lie. I think Haaland's the best captain every week when they're not there. So, yeah. Let me read out the poll results for those of you that don't have access to the chat, or maybe you're watching this back as a video. 17% of people already own Haaland. Okay, so 17% will have Haaland in Game Week 19. 53% of him wouldn't bring him in, even if he was confirmed fit for Game Week 19. So over half of the people watching would not own Haaland for 19, even if Pep came out and said Haaland's available. We've then got 23% would be able to do it for free, and 8% would be able to do it, but they'd do it for a hit. So interesting results. Around half of people still wouldn't even have Haaland for 19. So I would go as far as saying Haaland will be a differential for 19 if you can get him in, and if he's fit. If he's not fit, then of course you don't bring him in. I will be interested to see what happens in Game Week 19 if Haaland's still not available, he's still not in training, and maybe people still have him. Do you still just hold on to him? Because he could still be out for another 3-4 game weeks. Unlikely, especially given the gap between 20 and 21 and then between 21 and 22. I think Haaland should be back in the next 3 or 4 game weeks as a maximum, but we'll see. This will be something that we need to assess before the Boxing Day deadline. When do we find out if he's fit? This is the only concern. I'm not even sure that we're going to have a press conference from Pep. I'm hoping that we get something from a Twitter account that's leaked. That's the most likely way that we'll get information, is someone will leak us something. And that might well come on Christmas Day or Boxing Day. Haaland, one more price drop? Should we have it? I don't know. Let's have a look. It's a good question. If we go toolbox price changes. Haaland. No, I don't think so. He's at 40%, minus 40%. But he's not been sold by many managers. No, I don't think we'll get a second price drop for Haaland, personally. Doesn't look likely. Oh, doesn't look likely. Ads kill streams. I don't have any ads on, Marcus. That's YouTube. You can't stop YouTube from putting ads on. All I can do is not put ads on myself. I can promise you myself, hand on heart, I've not put ads on this stream. So if you got an ad, it's YouTube. No, I'm getting no money for this stream. No money at all because I've not put ads on. The only money I've got is £15 from Super Chat. That's it. There is no money from me on this stream. How the heck do we get Salah back? I bought him right at the beginning. Oh, are you saying in terms of budget? That's the only concern. So let me show you. If you go on to transfers, and then if you go on to transfer list on the site, what this will tell you is CP is current price. You've got SP, which is selling price. And then you've got PP, which is purchase price. So The PP is the price you bought them, obviously. SP is what you could sell them for right now. And CP is how much they actually cost. So just as an example, I bought Salah at 12.5. I can sell him now for 12.9, but he's actually 13.3. So if I sell him for 12.9 and then want to buy him back, it's going to cost me 0.4 mil. Does that make sense? Because I'd have to buy him back at the more expensive price. Another example is Son. I bought Son at 9.1. Son is now 9.8. I can sell him for 9.4, but again, it's going to cost me 0.4 million to bring Son back in. Of course, they might drop in price in that time, so it might only cost me, let's say, 0.2 or 0.3 for those, but you do have to consider this when you're selling a player. When you have money tied up in them, it means the price that you can sell them at is different to the price that they currently cost to buy. So if I sold Son and Salah and bought them both back in, it's probably going to cost me 0.6 mil. Which obviously isn't ideal. It's not what you want. Ads have been crazy tonight. That's really frustrating. Well, I guess I should just put ads on then. If they're going to put bloody ads on anyway. I might as well get paid for it. Shazam says, super chat just so that you and Mrs. Raptor can get a few drinks and a mince pie. You, my friend, are a superstar. Thank you. I'll make sure to buy Mrs. Raptor. I don't think she likes mince pies, but I'll get her something. I'll get her some sort of dessert. How are you doing in the cup, Ross? Knocked out. Knocked out, sadly. My opponent had Solanke and Salah captain, so I got knocked out big time. Big time knocked out the cup. FPL, yeah, for Twitter, let me quickly show you, just so that you guys are aware. If you're looking for team news, it's FPL, or like not team news, but yeah, I guess team news. Like Haaland leaks. It's FPL Tony, this guy. So just follow FPL Tony. He's probably the most likely person to get us the Man City stuff ahead of time. There's a chance. There's always a chance. He managed to do it previously, which was nice. So maybe he'll do it again. Show us her team. Yeah, I can do. Let me bring it up. Yeah, I can show him. Yeah. Leagues. Here she is. I have to switch it though to this because the screen is green. That is Mrs. FPL Raptors team. She is flying. Her bench is at... Look at that bench, by the way, chat, for Mrs. FPL Raptor. Areola, Taylor, Archer. But she has Solanke and Gabrielle. So 53 points. Pretty decent. Let me go back now then. I'd wildcard Haaland in if he's fit. Fair play. Don't blame you. If you've got your wildcard still. A Christmas red arrow. I know. How upsetting to get a red arrow before Christmas. How upsetting. Show the draft league, Ross. Draft league, yeah, I don't want to show that, do I?
I don't even know how it went.
God, this guy, and he's playing...
He's back.
I know, he's back, isn't he? He's just flying up and down my road playing loud music. Draft.
I haven't even checked it.
Draft. I have 13 points. Oh, dear Lord. No wonder you asked me to show my draft team. I say draft because my my girlfriend's a Brummie and she says draft, but I say draft. That is a horrible draft team. Castagna, Iwobi, Willian getting me a combined 3 points. Lascelles injured. Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't want to... 13 points. I've had just a stinker all round. I've had a... Do you know what? I'm going to get off this. This is diabolical. I'm not showing anyone else's points. That is horrid. You missed my super chat, did I? Let me check. Sell Isak, Pau Torres, Johnson, or Gordon. Wouldn't sell Johnson. Wouldn't sell Gordon. Wouldn't sell... Isak, probably. No, I think Isak could start. I wouldn't sell any of those players. I wouldn't sell any of them. There you go. There's my answer for you. Unless we get confirmation that they're not available, I'd keep them. Right, chat. I want to leave it there because I've been streaming for over an hour now, and I want this to be watchable as a video for people to watch tonight/tomorrow. So I shall love you and leave you. This is my final stream before Christmas. I will have a video live tomorrow, but just in case you don't watch that, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas for you and your family if you celebrate, and if you don't, I hope you still have a fantastic day. I love you all very much. Thank you for helping me through this red arrow because it means a lot for you to be here and supporting me. But please do have a wonderful Christmas. Make sure you take a bit of time away from FPL and the FPL community on Christmas Day and just spend time with your family. There will be no Boxing Day stream, sadly, because I'm with my family and I'm just going to take a bit of time off. But then I'll be back again for Game Week 20 live stream. And that's it. I love you all very much. Have a wonderful Saturday evening. And I will catch you tomorrow for my team selection video. Bye, guys.